Good afternoon, everyone. It has been a while. For all y'all that don't know, I had a medical emergency back on August the 12th. And it kind of put me out for a while, and I'm yet still recovering. And there was damage, physical damage, and other damage that have yet to be found yet. But nevertheless, I'm doing okay. Um, and so that's the reason why, I've been absent, at least for my few subscribers I do have. They deserve an explanation. But I'm coming on today because it's been not a great time for the uh, the United States of America when it comes to crime. As you know, the president basically took control of Washington D.C. Um, and has really cracked down on crime in D.C. to a point to where it's almost non-existent. I mean, it will never be non-existent, but it's much less than it was. DC's always been known to be a high crime city. So supposedly, the president wants to be invited in, which I agree. He should be invited in. And there might be some governors who choose to do that, maybe some mayors. Who choose to allow the president to send in federal officers and National Guard troops to police these major cities. I believe the statistic says out of 25 or the most dangerous cities in America, 24 of them are run by Democratic mayors or in blue states. Um, um, well, I think it's Democratic mayors, I believe. Um, so we'll see. Supposedly Chicago is next. So we'll see. But I came on here because, as most of y'all may know, a couple of days ago, that young lady, a Ukrainian woman, was killed on I believe it was a train, public transportation in Charlotte, North Carolina. I'm not even going to try to say her name, but y'all know it's been all over social media. Stabbed by a black gentleman who has been convicted 14 times, who was schizophrenic. The family knew it, the justice system knew it, but they yet let him out in several cases with cashless bail. Didn't have to put anything up. Uh, you know, I understand that in many cities and counties and states that the justice system is not only broken but overcrowded. Prisons and jails are overcrowded. Judges don't want to keep folks in jail that aren't, offended, that aren't, don't, capital murder charges or stuff like that. If they're minor charges, they don't keep them in jail. And I understand to a point. Um, but it comes down to whether you want to, again, hold people personally accountable for what they do, which is what we need to be doing, or if you've been convicted 14 times, there's got to be a problem somewhere. Now, people have been making excuses that, well, it's the fault of, the government not giving enough for the mental health system. Well, that may or may not be true. And probably is true that we don't have enough resources to help mental health. But a lot of these things that cause mental health issues start at home. We have too many single mother families. We have too many families without fathers. We have too many people living in poverty. We've got all these things that start from home. And we know as parents that if you raise your children right, yeah, they may do some things, but in the end, you've laid that foundation, and they'll always come back to that foundation. Even the Bible speaks on that. You know, if you put it in them, they'll come. They'll eventually come back. They'll always remember it. It'll be in the back of their mind. You know, you know, raise a child in the way they should go, and they'll never depart. And I'm paraphrasing. It's the same thing with regular parenting. We don't even have to be biblical to know that it's, a two-parent home is much more successful than a one-parent home, and that, if you provide the right environment, your children will prosper. It's not that they won't go through anything. That's life is just life. You're going to go through things. You're going to have failures, but you've laid the proper foundation for your children. They will do the right thing, and they will be productive citizens, and they will have good morals and ethics, because there's a difference between morals and ethics. So, that disgusting video, that guy just stabbed her, and she didn't even realize, I guess, probably at first, or maybe she did. Nobody helped her. Nobody did anything. Nobody wanted to get involved, and she just died. It's just ridiculous. She left a war-torn country to come to America to start over, and gets killed in Charlotte, North Carolina on public transportation. She should have just stayed in Ukraine. She probably had a better chance of surviving. It's ridiculous. And then on top of that, today, Charlie Kirk, the founder of Turning Point USA, a conservative, they call him pundit, journalist, whatever you want to call it, was giving a speech in Utah. I don't remember the name of the college or university, but it was in Utah. And they was speaking, and then somebody shot him from a distance. They shot him in the neck. I mean, literally right where the blood vessel is. And he bled to death right there. It didn't take long. They shot him right in the neck. He was just bleeding all over the place, right in front of thousands of people, hundreds or thousands of people. I don't know how many people were there. It's just despicable. So what it's doing is that person knew what they were doing. So initially they thought they had the suspect, but they don't have the suspect. So that means they probably will never catch this person. Now, of course, Mr. Kirk knew that the risks of being a conservative and speaking conservative values. He knew the risk. That doesn't mean he should have been assassinated, which is exactly what he was. 31 years old, had a wife and 2 kids. Nobody deserves to be assassinated. I don't care if you're on the left or the right. As we have the Second Amendment, you should be free to say whatever you want. People aren't going to like it. Of course they're not. If you're liked by everybody, something wrong with you. And the Bible speaks on that too. Somebody's going to disagree with you. Well, a lot of people disagree with Mr. Kirk. I thought he was doing, as a conservative. Again, I'm a registered independent, but as a conservative-minded person, he did a lot of things, especially for youth. He did great things with colleges and getting stuff out for the youth. And I think he was instrumental in getting President Trump reelected this go-around. And this has nothing to do with guns. So all these crazy folk out here talking about gun control, it's stupid. Guns don't kill people. People kill people. And there are plenty of gun owners out here that aren't going around shooting folks because they have discipline and they understand the privilege that it is to have a gun and be able to use it when you need to use it. And they take it seriously. Most gun owners do, and I know many of them. This was pure evil. This was an assassination attempt. This shooter knew exactly what to do. Mr. Kirk had personal security, but there were no metal detectors or anything like that. He didn't have the same security that the president did, and they tried to assassinate him twice. It's what this is doing is setting a precedence that if you don't agree with somebody, you can just go out and kill somebody. And of course, there are people on TikTok and on X and any and all social platforms that are applauding this. They were calling, him racist, and they were calling him this, and that he deserved it. Nobody deserves to be assassinated. I don't care what filthies come out your mouth. Nobody deserves to be assassinated, especially if you have a family. Nobody deserves to be assassinated. But what this has done and what this has started is now that people who think conservatively have to be careful, because people on the left who applaud this, MSNBC, CNN, there are people on there that applaud this. are going to come after you. They're going to come after you. They're going to try to kill you for your views. And we have come to this point in the United States of America that you cannot have your own opinion anymore. And if your opinion disagrees with what the media is spouting and the left is spouting, then you might get assassinated. It's just that simple. That's what it's come down to now. And I pray that peace comes, but I have a strange feeling that this has started something that is not going to be pretty. It's not going to be pretty at all. The left hates Donald Trump, hates MAGA people, hates anybody who disagrees with them. And now they have taken the next step in killing people for their views. We know that white men have been targeted for a while now. They blame white men for everything, thinking that we're privileged, thinking that it ain't got nothing to do with it. Ain't none of us privileged. Ain't no one better than the other person. But now they've taken that step and they've actually gone out and killed somebody. Now, we don't know exactly who it is because they didn't catch the perpetrator. Hopefully they will. I don't know how they're going to do it, but maybe they will. But this, unfortunately, I think is going to cause, there's going to be some collateral. Somebody on the right is going to take revenge. And we don't want that to happen, again, because nobody deserves to be assassinated, no matter what you believe. But this might not stop at a conservative pundit journalist like Mr. Kirk. Who's next? Christians? They're already being slaughtered overseas. White folks? People will say, okay, well, you deserve it for what you did, quote unquote, to black folk for decades, which is stupid and ridiculous. Nobody deserves to be killed. I don't care who you are or what ethnicity you are. This is starting a precedence where pundits online and journalists who don't think the same way that the left and the media thinks have to now watch their back. They have to watch their back. They have to watch their back now. Especially if you have a large following. You have to watch your back. So it's really upsetting what happened. He's so young, and it doesn't make any sense to me. You didn't have to agree with him, but you sure enough didn't have to kill him. I don't know if he was saved or not. I don't know. Never met the gentleman. I don't know him. But he didn't back down from his convictions or what he believed in. Always spoke what he believed and never backed down, which of course you have to respect. Never was a wishy-washy person or anything like that. He just wanted to spread what he thought was the right values to young people. Turning Point USA is, I talked to someone, I know a couple of them when I went to UAB. I just don't understand how somebody could hate somebody so much for what they believe in that you have to assassinate them. Not just shoot them. You assassinated him. He died almost instantly. He was shot exactly in the right spot to literally kill him quickly. He didn't suffer. And that's probably the only good thing that came out of this. He didn't suffer. He was probably already dead by the time he hit the ground. I don't know if the FBI is going to investigate this or not. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know the future. I can't say what's going to happen. I hope nothing does. I hope that we can get some semblance of order and peace because if not, this is going to spiral out of control. It's going to be a tick for tack type of thing. This is what third world countries do. And unfortunately, in the United States of America, we've basically turned into a third world country. People will kill you for your opinions. They already criticize you for being conservative. They do in my church. I get criticized all the time. I get criticized in my own local church because everybody else in that church is liberal or leftist, and I'm the only conservative. I get criticized for my own spouse and family. So thinking conservatively, I'm not saying Republican because we don't care about parties on this channel. But thinking conservatively is now dangerous. Speaking conservatively is now dangerous. Speaking biblical values is now dangerous and has been dangerous. But now that they've made an example of Mr. Kirk by assassinating him, now everybody's got to be careful. Probably nothing will happen. The media will publicly say it was bad, but behind the scenes cheer that he died, which is sick and disgusting. For anybody to revel in somebody's assassination you're sick and demented and disgusting. And all the things that have come out about Martin Luther King and all the revelations that have come out and all this other stuff, even if you didn't agree with them, and even though now it's been basically proven he was a socialist and all of it was basically just an agenda, he didn't deserve to be assassinated. You don't have to agree with somebody to kill them. Where are the adults in the room? There are none, because nobody wants to talk. I know from personal experience going through my church, nobody wants to talk. You are ostracized because you believe a certain way. You're not in hook, line, and sinker with everybody else. I'm not a robot. And people are like, well, why are you still there? Well, that's where the Lord put me. But you know what? It might be time. And there's a lot going on. And it's a chaotic world. And I'm not saying that I agree with everything that President Trump does. I don't. I did vote for him because I vote for the person that best fits my morals and ethics. And say what you want about President Trump and what he's done in the past, what he was campaigning on, and what he's done so far, not only his first term, but now in the second, aligns with a lot of the things that I want to see. Not everything. I don't agree with everything he does, nor should anybody. You should be able to question things. You should be able to ask. You should be able to disagree. And that's okay. The real change happens at the local and state level. That's where real change happens. That's what really affects you. Not so much at the national level. What really affects you is at the state and local level. And that's where the real change happens. And my youngest son, had to remind me of that the other day, because he knows every senator in our state. He knows the attorney general personally. He knows the governor. He knows all of them. And he's like, that's where the change is, at the state and local level. So we're just praying for peace in the midst of all the chaos that's happening, because there's a lot of hurt people out there, a lot of angry people out there, to include the president. There's a lot. He was already upset about what happened to that young lady in Charlotte. Now this, I don't even want to try to speculate. This is a bad moment in the history of the United States when political pundits / journalists get assassinated for their opinions and their views. we have turned into a third world country. I don't know what the president is going to do to try to salvage what has happened, because this cannot continue. Nor can this be the spark that takes our rights away. But at the same time, he's got to be able to um, calm the populace down and saying, you know what, you should be free to say whatever you want. If you don't like it, don't listen. Go somewhere else. But now, as especially if you're white, conservative, and Christian, you got to be careful now. You literally have to be careful. You got to watch your back everywhere you go. And most people don't have the money to have security and protection like Mr. Kirk did. And that wasn't enough. Heck, even the president who has Secret Service, it wasn't enough. When somebody really wants to kill you, they're going to find a way to do it. When somebody is determined to do something, they're going to find a way to do it. And whoever this person is, we pray that the Lord, leads and guides law enforcement to whoever this is, male or female, whoever it is, we don't know. I think the gentleman they've shown on social media is not the gentleman that fired. He was just a suspect. But we'll see. Our news cycle is ever changing. So we got to continue to stand for what's right and what we think is right. But at the same time, we have to start using wisdom. And there's always going to be people that are going to say, heck with it. It needs to be said. And I applaud them for that. But they need to understand now that there are fatal consequences for speaking those things that Mr. Kirk was speaking. I don't know who's going to take his mantle. I hope it's somebody that's just as brave and just as stalwart as he was, male or female. But the landscape as we know it has now changed when you speak things that maybe a lot of people don't agree with, but now somebody takes it to the next level. And the media and the leftists are cheering. It's all over social media. They're cheering. They're happy. And that lets you know that this nation is is almost rock bottom when it comes to, morality and ethics. We've reached an extreme low point. This country is no longer that shining light on the hill that President Reagan was talking about. We're far from that. And whatever shred of decency and goodness that this country has left is very hard to find. The president has to address this, and he has to tell the people that, you know what, you should be able to say whatever you want and not have to worry about being killed for it. That's what I need him to say. We don't need to go out and take revenge. That's never a solution to the problem. But one of the solutions is that we need to let the country know that we are going to continue to protect your right of free speech, and that irregardless if I agree with you or not, you have a right to say it without having to be killed over it. Now, are you going to ever be able to stop everybody? Of course not. But something has to be said at the highest levels to calm, especially conservatives, that, you know what, if I say something, I might be killed too. And like I said, Mr. Kirk knew the risks of what he was doing. I'm sure he did. That's why he had security. He knew the risks. But he didn't deserve to be assassinated the way he was. That was just a cold-blooded murderer that knew exactly where to hit him. I do not believe that was just an accident shot. He knew exactly where to hit him. right where he would bleed out, right there in the neck. And people are applauding the shooter. They're blaming Mr. Kirk that it was coming to him. It's his fault. It is never anybody's fault. Nobody deserves to be assassinated. Nobody. I don't care who you are. Nobody deserves to be assassinated. That man had a wife and 2 kids. So I just came on here to say that I'm not going to be all angry and all this other stuff. I'll let the other folks on social media do all that stuff. But I just want to come on here and say that we're in trouble. We're in trouble. We're in trouble. And it's definitely not getting any better. And so we just got to pray for peace, pray for comfort for Mr. Kirk's family, his parents, his wife, his kids. We have to pray for them. And that, that maybe something good will come out of this. That his assassination and that his life wasn't in vain. That whatever he, wanted to do or tried to do or had a vision to do, I think for the most part, he accomplished a lot of things he wanted to do. But there was obviously a lot more he wanted to do. And I think, whoever steps up in his place, I just hope that they're able to continue to, stand their ground and be unshakable and, and be courageous and all those things that he was, talking to all these people that didn't agree with him, but that he was able to have an intelligent conversation with every one of them. And he put himself out there. And what he felt what he was doing was important. And I think it was. And for the most part, I agree with just about everything he was saying. There's nothing racist about it. There's nothing fascist about it. People just don't want to believe in moral values. People want to think what they want to think, and that's fine. And if you don't like it, go somewhere else. You got a page, you can say whatever you want. There's always going to be somebody that's going to agree with you. But nobody deserves to be hurt. Not at all. So anyways, that's it. I just wanted to come on here and say that. It's just a really sad day. Real sad day. Very sad day, especially for conservatives. Especially if you're a young conservative. Mr. Kirk was your champion. And now it's just horrible. And I just don't see good things happening, honestly. I'm praying for peace. I'm praying that something good does come out of this, that his sacrifice wasn't in vain. But we'll see. It's in the Lord's hands now, so we'll just leave it there. But anyways, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, share this video, leave a comment. As always, be respectful, because if not, it's going to be deleted. We're respectful on this page. Even if you don't agree with me, that's fine. But I want to thank all my subscribers. Thank everybody that views this video. I had a medical emergency about a month ago and still recovering from it. And I really hadn't had time to get on here and say anything. So I just want to come on here and do that. And if you've met Mr. Kirk, leave a comment down below. Let me know how he was as a person. You could be anything you want on social media and on video, but you really don't get to know a person until you meet him in person. So, yeah, I just pray that all is well with everybody, and that, until next time, God bless you.